Hello, this is Luminousz Star. Welcome to the channel. All of my current subscribers, thank you guys and gals so much for being my stars, and thank you for motivating me as well as inspiring me to keep Luminousz Star channel active. Today's video, learn from narcissistic mothers' mistakes. Please mind the description box below for further details to today's video. Don't forget to like and or share today's video. If this is your first time visiting, welcome to Luminousz Star. Should you become a part of our Star family, don't forget to click the notification bell. I want to thank everyone in advance for his or her time. Topics of discussion. Beware of taking romantic relationship advice from narcissistic moms. Topic number 2. Learn from the mistakes that narcissistic moms often make. Next topic. Narcissistic mothers often head the counsel of broken romantic relationships. Next topic, trust your own intuition, instinct, and wise counsel, whereas it pertains to making challenging romantic relationship decisions. The last and final topic are going to be the tools, references, and resources. You may find the references and resources in the description box below. First point, beware of taking relationship advice from narcissistic moms and those who have a cluster B personality type. There are many testimonies from unloved daughters of narcissistic mothers who claim that their mother is emotionally unsafe, unavailable, and who lack the desire to emotionally connect with her children, yet has a string of broken romances with others. So we may find certain similarities between moms who either have a cluster B personality type or a narcissistic personality who have a lot of broken romances or bad romances. You know, a lot of dysfunctional relationships that are volatile. All right. And she may have children, yet she's not very attentive when it comes to her own children. Usually it is the unloved daughter who can sense that her mother is not paying a lot of attention to the mother-daughter relationship or the parent-child relationship. However, she's very interested, seemingly, in her romantic relationships. She places more time and energy in those, therefore leaving her unloved daughter feeling more alienated. Sometimes moms who have a cluster B personality type or have a narcissistic personality, they often don't have their priorities straight when it comes to family. You know, sometimes when unloved daughters become adults, by that time they have seen so much. They have experienced a lot, whereas their moms are concerned, right? All of the emotional distance, the mixed messages, and all of the shenanigans that her mother pulls for narcissistic supply. See, all of that adds up. So by the time the daughter is an adult and she may be interested in romantic relationships, her mother is the last person that she knows deep down inside she ought to be taking any advice from, because she has seen firsthand how her mother does romantic relationships. So again, deep down, she already knows that her mother is the last person she ought to be taking any romantic relationship advice from. Now, this is kind of sad to me, because it is our mothers whom we ought to go for any relationship advice. We ought to be able to go to our moms for any relationship advice, especially if we're contemplating marriage. That's a big step in life, because children may result. So we ought to be able to go to our parents, but particularly our moms. We ought to be able to go to her expecting some good advice, because after all, she has been married, or she has at least had a long-term relationship long enough to bring us into the world. The bottom line is narcissistic moms often head the counsel of broken relationships. So again, the unloved daughter, she knows deep down inside her mother is not the go-to person for good or excellent relationship advice, whether it's romantic or not. she has seen firsthand her mother's mistakes. So again, deep down, the daughter already knows mom is not the best person to go to for romantic relationship advice. Unfortunately, narcissists who happen to be moms, they often are emotionally unavailable. Emotionally, they are unsafe to their unloved daughters. Okay, the key word is that her daughter is unloved. This means emotionally, her mom is not making sure to set the tone, whereas her daughter feels emotionally safe with her. The moms set the tone when she's pregnant with child. Unfortunately, the unloved daughter of a narcissistic mom, she learns all too early in her life that her mother is emotionally unsafe, unavailable, and worst of all, lacks the desire to emotionally connect with her. All right? So that message carries on into her adulthood. She ought to be able to go to her mom for advice, but the unloved daughter of a narcissistic mom already knows that her mom is not going to give her good advice. The best she can do is learn from her mother's mistakes. Let's move forward. By taking romantic relationship advice from mothers who have a narcissistic personality might prove to be a mistake. By choosing to learn from her mistakes might be best. Okay, so narcissistic moms often make a lot of mistakes when it comes to romantic relationships. Okay, so all of us tend to make mistakes when it comes to relationships, period. However, when it comes to the narcissistic mom, she's often heading the counsel of broken relationships. She tends to have a string of broken relationships going all the way back to her adolescence. This is often the case when it comes to moms who have either a cluster B personality type or a narcissistic personality. What's also interesting to me is that if the unloved daughter of a narcissistic mom reaches out to her for relationship advice, the narcissistic mom will often be deceptive. Sometimes this is unconsciously. She will not be very forthcoming. She will not be very honest about her mistakes in past romances. She will not share with her daughter what she has learned from broken relationships of her past. Number one, because narcissists do not admit to their mistakes. So as a mom who either has a cluster B personality or a narcissistic personality, automatically she's not going to be very forthcoming when it comes to her mistakes. Her daughter will be left out in the cold. Not only that, sometimes narcissistic moms unconsciously will sabotage her daughter's happiness with someone else. Let's move forward. Narcissistic moms who do not have their daughter's best interest often stems from her own broken heart, of which she might be in denial. Narcissistic moms tend to project unresolved pain and or trauma upon their daughters by unconsciously sabotaging any form of happiness she might have with eligible singles who might be interested in investing in a positive relationship. Okay, now I know that was a mouthful. However, I think you all get the picture. Moms who have either a cluster B personality or a narcissistic personality tend to project anything she doesn't like upon herself upon her daughter. She often has unresolved pain. She often has unresolved trauma. The key word is unresolved. This means, again, anything that is painful to the narcissistic mom that she doesn't like about herself, any unresolved pain or trauma means that it will more than likely be projected onto her daughter. This is unfair. This is not even responsible, because a mom sets the tone for the parent-child relationship. So when the mom doesn't have her best interest at heart, this can be expressed in several ways. Number one, she may unconsciously sabotage her daughter's happiness in romance. She's distant. Emotionally, she's unavailable because her daughter bringing this news to her will often trigger or challenge her false self-image. Often, this challenge is perceived. The narcissistic mom more than likely will have no evidence to support that her daughter is a threat to her. It's not going to even reflect in reality, in other words. The key word is perceived. Her mother more than likely will perceive a threat when her daughter comes to her with this news of happiness. Again, the narcissistic mom has unresolved pain and trauma. The last thing she wants to hear is that her daughter is succeeding where she has failed, and that is having a positive relationship with someone else. Let's move forward. Narcissistic mothers often have a history of broken, dysfunctional, volatile, and bad romances. She does not do healthy relationships, therefore cannot teach her daughter how to invest wisely in healthy and positive relationships with those who might prove to be suitable for her. Narcissistic moms do not wish to share her sources of supply with others who might also receive narcissistic supply from her daughters. Giving up any control to receive narcissistic supply from her daughters often proves to be a direct challenge to her false self-image. As I stated in the previous slide, some narcissistic moms, or some moms who have a cluster B personality type, when her daughter comes to her with news of joy or any signs of being successful with being happy with someone else, it often triggers that challenge that I was telling you all about to her false self-image. Remember, the narcissistic mom often has a string of unhealthy relationships with other people. She often has left behind broken or bad romances. She has a lot of romances that she has started, but she did not finish. There's no way that she wants her daughter to have a different experience. Sometimes this is unconsciously. She will sabotage her daughter's happiness by either ill-advising her daughter, number two, flat out sabotaging her daughter's happiness by going to whoever the person in question is that she's happy with and lying about her daughter to that person, therefore making her daughter look really bad. The bottom line is, when the mom is triggered, she often will unconsciously set the stage for sabotaging her daughter's happiness with someone else. Sometimes the sabotage starts during the daughter's childhood. How so? Well, who is the narcissistic mom married to right now? Does she have a healthy relationship with that person that she's married to? Probably not. The relationship her mother currently has, or several relationships that her mother currently has with romantic partners, often are very volatile, if not downright dysfunctional. So her mother is not the model for a happy romance. So often, the unloved daughter of a narcissistic mom, right from her childhood, she is being taught not to have a positive relationship romantically. So it is often best to learn from the narcissistic mother's mistakes rather than taking advice from her and expecting it to work out for you. Let's move forward. It is natural for daughters to seek emotional, psychological, and spiritual support from their mothers at some point, even as adults. Unfortunately, many unloved daughters of narcissistic moms have come to learn that she is better off seeking support and advice or wise counsel from others. Some narcissistic moms become indifferent, distant, and emotionally numb due to perceived challenges and threats to her false self-image when her daughter seeks her support, therefore could subconsciously attempt to sabotage her daughter's efforts to share happiness with others. So as I mentioned before, right, there are a lot of moms who either have a cluster B personality or a narcissistic personality who will unconsciously, sometimes it is blatant, right? In other words, she means to do it. Oftentimes, though, it is unconscious that the mom will set the stage for sabotage. She will sabotage her daughter's happiness with being romantically involved in a positive relationship with someone else. There are several things going on here. The narcissistic mom is threatened. It's a perceived threat. She's not going to be getting as much supply anymore from her daughter. The narcissistic mom or the cluster B personality mom, they feel the threat. So they will unconsciously make sure that they're not going to be left out in the cold, whereas narcissistic supply is concerned. They don't want to share their narcissistic supply with anyone. They want all of the supply that they can obtain from their daughter. This is kind of sad, though, because the narcissistic mom sometimes is not aware of the damage that she is doing to her daughter, simply by sabotaging any chances of her having a positive relationship with this person in question. All right, so it could be a fiance. It can be someone that she has been involved with for quite some time. It can be someone that she's about to have children with. Okay, so the bottom line is a lot of daughters who seek emotional and spiritual, maybe even psychological support from their moms. Okay, let's go ahead and throw in their financial support from their mothers. They often walk away empty-handed because the narcissistic moms, again, she's threatened. She has perceived the threat. She perceives a challenge, when most of the time, in reality, that is just not so. The real threat and challenge and trigger is that the narcissistic mom has a string of failed, broken relationships. And her daughter's happiness has triggered that, has reminded her of that, and is very painful. This is something that a lot of us may overlook, especially when we're dealing with our moms who don't seem to be very happy that we have found happiness with someone else. But I want to share this with you all today because this is a big issue for a lot of us. Now, some men go through this too with their mothers because the narcissistic mom can be very protective of her sons. But today, I really want to talk about the unloved daughters of narcissistic moms. Very often, it is unloved daughters of narcissistic moms who painfully come to realize that they must seek wise counsel or good advice from someone else, because her mom unconsciously will sabotage her happiness with someone else. Let's move forward. Tool number 1, trust your own instinct, intuition, and ability to filter through good advice from those who have proven to be trustworthy. Okay, so once again, the unloved daughter of a narcissistic mom more than likely often learns later in life, though. Sometimes, I'm going to go ahead and say most of the time, she doesn't grasp this reality until a little bit later on down the road. Very often, the unloved daughter of a narcissistic mom will hang in there for quite some time before she lets go and realizes that she must walk away from her mom, figuratively speaking, because mom simply is not emotionally safe. She cannot receive wise counsel about romantic relationships from her mom, especially when her mom is currently in a volatile romance, whether that's her being married to an abusive person or her having a string of relationships, whereas they're all volatile and dysfunctional. So the unloved daughter of narcissistic moms often get firsthand how their moms make a lot of mistakes in their romances. So a lot of narcissistic mothers teach their unloved daughters what not to do rather than what to do when it comes to romance. So trust your own instinct, trust your own tuition, and gain some confidence in your ability to filter through good advice from those who have proven to be trustworthy. Unfortunately, the narcissistic mom is not going to be on that list. Let's move forward. Tool number 2. Ask your mother about her relationship with her parents and family as she grew up. Narcissistic mothers don't like to share their childhood experiences with their daughters because it maintains her sense of control. So a lot of narcissistic moms like to remain in control. This is one of the characteristics of narcissists. They like to sabotage because this keeps their control, this keeps their sense of control very strong. If they feel like they can control their daughters, then they feel very strong. Unfortunately, narcissistic moms sometimes they don't realize the damage that they do simply by trying to maintain control. So unloved daughters of narcissistic moms, very often, it really helps them to ask their mother, what about her relationships with her parents? How did that go for her? What she is probably going to find is, number 1, her mother is very uncomfortable with answering her question. Another thing that narcissistic moms often do is keep secrets, especially if it exposes her. So a lot of narcissistic moms have not had a very good relationship with either her mother or her father or both her parents. Okay, so the narcissistic mom, this is often a trigger point for her, being asked or being required to talk about her childhood. I think some of you are beginning to see where I'm going with this, because a lot of narcissistic moms, they do have unresolved pain and or trauma stemming from their childhood that they simply want to keep secret. So when it comes to their unloved daughters, yeah, they're kept out in the cold. They're kept out in the dark. So by the time they grow up, and maybe they're getting married, and maybe they're about to have children, this is also a barrier from him or her, this is also a barrier to her seeking or actually receiving any advice from her mother that can possibly help her. This can help her to handle what she's about to experience, because her mom has gone through it. Her mother has had children. Her mother has possibly been married before. Her mother certainly, more than likely, has had many romantic relationships. Okay, so she should be able to pass something on to her daughter that can help her daughter now that her daughter is about to become a mom. Her daughter is about to be married, or her daughter is about to become very serious with someone. Okay, so unfortunately, a lot of daughters who are unloved by their narcissistic moms, they learn from their mother's mistakes rather than being able to receive any good advice from her. However, she's often uncomfortable with answering the question, because that means she has to be reminded of failed, painful, unresolved relationships. The string of broken relationships that narcissistic mothers leave behind often start with their parents, or at least one of their parents, the mother or the father, sometimes even the grandparents. So once again, when a daughter requests of her mom to talk to her about her childhood and how she got along with her grandparents, the narcissistic mother often is very uncomfortable, and it will probably show. The narcissistic mom will probably try to avoid to answer that question or give her daughter any advice on how to not make any mistakes that she has made. Secretly, the narcissistic mom may not want to see her daughter succeed where she has obviously failed. Let's move on to the next tool. Make choices based upon what your relationship desires and needs are without apology. Mothers who love and care for their daughters will accept the choices that their daughters make while not necessarily agreeing with them. Okay, so mothers who really care and love their daughters will not try to control their daughters, especially adult daughters who come to her and says, look, I'm about to get married, or I'm pregnant. The moms will be more than happy to oblige. A mom who cares and loves will be more than happy to provide her daughter all the advice that she can give her. A mother who loves and cares for her daughter will accept the choices that her adult daughter makes, while not necessarily agreeing with every choice that her adult daughter makes. Now, I keep stressing the word adult because her daughter is now an adult. Part of her responsibility is to make choices for herself. This includes marriage. This includes children or parenthood. This includes her becoming someone's fiance or becoming engaged. This includes her going out into the world and establishing a livelihood for herself. And mothers who have a cluster personality and or a narcissistic personality, unfortunately, do not support their daughters when she comes to make choices that will alter her life, such as a marriage or having children. Unconsciously, the narcissistic mom often will sabotage any chances that the daughter may have of happiness. Okay, so make choices based upon your desires and your needs without apologizing for it. This includes your mom. Let your mom know what you expect in the relationship with her now. And of course, be as respectful as possible. Of course, be cordial. You know, this is not the time to go in on your mom and pick a fight, right? This is not the time for that. Make choices based upon what your relationship desires and needs are. This includes your mom. Let her know what you expect now. Ask her questions about her childhood. If you see her becoming defensive or uncomfortable, believe it or not, that helps you out. How so? Because now you have more information about what your needs and desires are in a relationship with her. Case in point, you don't need or desire her to be emotionally unavailable. You don't need nor do you desire, and these are just examples, right? But I think you all get the message here. When it comes to your mom, the more information you have about her story, this will help you to figure out right now as an adult what you need and what you want in a relationship with her, such as not needing and not wanting her to be indifferent. That's very uncomfortable. Nor do you need or want her, I'm guessing, to be cold or emotionally distant. You don't need or want her to sabotage your efforts to have a wonderful life. Okay, so if your mom, case in point, overall, if your mom is behaving and speaking as if she is totally against you having any happiness in life, again, that helps you to see, whereas it pertains in a relationship with her, what you don't need and what you don't want. Because this is something that has helped me tremendously. Once a person shows you who they are, it helps you to realize what type of experiences you do not want in a relationship. It also teaches you what type of experiences you do enjoy. Once a person shows you what they're capable of, whereas it pertains to a relationship with you, it will help you navigate whether or not that relationship is for you or not. And that includes mom, dad, family, okay? It's not just other people. That's everybody. Make choices based upon your relationship desires and needs. Don't apologize for it. One of the things that helps me right now is to make choices that benefit me and at the same time will not harm anyone else intentionally. There are choices that I make that do benefit me and do help me and also helps other people. However, there's another group of people that don't agree with the choices I made, even though they could have benefited from the choice I made. I hope that makes sense. You're not going to be able to make everybody happy. So even when you make choices and you're basing that off of what you need and desire, and you're not apologizing for it, as long as you're not intentionally hurting anyone, then technically you're not harming anyone. Some people will not be happy with your choice, and they will probably express it, or they will keep it to themselves. The bottom line is, when you make choices for yourself, whereas it pertains to your mom, begin to make choices that will benefit you, rather than trying to make choices that will benefit only your mom. Simply put, you may want to discontinue making choices that will narcissistically supply your mom, because a lot of unloved daughters of narcissistic moms are so accustomed to doing that. Okay, very accustomed to doing that. So it's time to shift the gears a little bit. Start making choices that will benefit you, even though you may know that your narcissistic mom may not be pleased. You can still walk away feeling happy because you know you did not intentionally attempt to hurt your mom. However, the choice you just made could actually benefit her, but she misses it. And another example of making a choice that will benefit you and others is to go and join a support group. Go and seek counsel or mentor or life coach to help you thrive past narcissistic abuse. When you reach out to your mom and you want to have a great relationship with her, believe it or not, your choices to do what it takes to thrive past narcissistic abuse also benefits her if she chooses to partake of that. This is a powerful epiphany that I came to, and I would just want to share it with you. Whenever you choose to take care of yourself, this also gives your mom the opportunity to heal, because you have chosen to thrive forward past narcissistic abuse. You're healing. You're taking the steps to do that. And when you reach out to your mom and you want to share that, wow, that's powerful. So it gives her the opportunity to also heal. Unfortunately, there are some narcissistic moms who refuse this. They're only interested in the narcissistic supply by any means necessary. This means they will flush having a positive relationship with their daughters right down the toilet. Okay, let's move forward. References and resources. Please look in the description box below and find the links to the references and resources. Okay, just wanted to give everyone a few moments to read this little message over here. Well, actually, it's not a little message. I find it to be quite profound. And I can summarize for you what I think about this message. Narcissists are hard to recover from. Reason being is because they often do not take responsibility for their part in the relationship. Now, when it comes to a mother who has either a cluster B personality or a narcissistic personality, unfortunately, this is also the case. Many years can go by before your mom either apologizes, take responsibility for her part, or the unloved daughter faces the reality that mom is just not going to apologize. It's one of the two. Very often, as I mentioned before, narcissistic moms teach their unloved daughters what not to do. Therefore, the unloved daughters of a narcissistic mom, by the time maybe they're 30 or 40, they have taken off the rose-colored glasses and realized that mom is just not going to apologize for anything she has done to break my heart. Okay, and so this is what I get out of this message here about narcissists never apologizing. We just have to take off the rose-colored glasses in most cases, whether this narcissist is our mom, our spouse, our father, our sibling, whoever it may be. We just have to take off the rose-colored glasses and realize that they're probably not going to change. So it is probably unrealistic to expect them to apologize. Okay, so this is something that we just, again, it's a little bit challenging, I know. At the same time, it helps you to continue to thrive forward past narcissistic abuse. Because once you take off the rose-colored glasses and you look at reality, then it will help clear the pathway for you to continue thriving on forward. Because now you're not expecting the narcissistic mom or whoever the narcissist may be in question to do right by you, so to speak. You're not expecting it anymore. You've let go. So that frees you to continue to thrive forward. So when it comes to narcissistic moms, in a lot of cases, they do not ever apologize because they do not change. So this is what I get out of this message here. You know, we just have to let go. Take off the rose-colored glasses. And once we do that, we can continue to thrive forward past narcissistic abuse and continue to heal until we don't really have to do that much healing anymore, right? We're at the point where we can really, really live our lives to the full. We don't have to continue to focus on healing so much, right? So I just wanted to share that. Signs that narcissistic moms are not emotionally safe. There's a history of betrayal. There's a history of deception. There's a history of abuse, addiction, abandonment, broken trust, broken relationships, irresponsibility. So when it comes to narcissistic moms, all of these signs often apply. So when the unloved daughter of a narcissistic mom takes off the rose-colored glasses and she realizes that her mother probably will never change, she can probably let go at that point and to continue to thrive forward past narcissistic abuse, freeing herself to continue to live her life to the full. Unfortunately, her mother has chosen to miss out. Okay. I'm Luminousz Star. I want to thank everyone for joining me today and tonight. And wherever you may be right now, I wish you the very best love possible. Stay tuned for more vlogs and stay tuned for more videos.
Hi, I'm Luminousz Star. I want to thank everyone for joining me today or tonight. And of course, wherever you are right now, I wish you the very best love possible. Everyone who's decided to join the Luminousz Star family, welcome to Luminousz Star. And please don't forget to select the notification bell. That way, all the videos that come out, you'll be the first to know. On that note, just a friendly reminder, every Sunday and every Thursday, there are new videos that are coming out. So I want to thank everyone, my stars especially. Thank you guys and gals so much. And stay tuned for more vlogs and stay tuned for more videos.